Good. That's good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so this will just be kind of a rough training. I'll just kind of go through everything and maybe stop and see if there's questions along the way. But let me see here. Let me share out my screen. Let me get my connection up here. 1 second. Okay. We'll just start with the Secure system. That's the access control to control the doors. And there's two parts to the software. There's a monitoring station client, which is used for seeing the real-time activity. You can see the badge reads coming in and see things happening in the system and check status of devices to this guy. You can also manually control doors, like if you need to lock a door down for a certain amount of time. That can, live action stuff is done through the monitoring station. And then the other key client is the administration workstation, and that's just where you do like static entry of new personnel or entering badges, assigning badges to people, and assigning clearances, things like that. Creating events for unlocking doors and schedules, things like that. That's all done through the administration workstation. So let's just take a quick peek here at the monitoring station. And if you get this pop up, this is for the software support agreement. If this expires, it says it's going to expire on 11/30/2025. If this expires, the system's still going to run. The system won't shut down. This is just you. This is like a yearly thing that gets renewed, and that allows you to have free access to the software for upgrades. Of course, if we're going to do an upgrade, it's usually a service call or a job because we'll have to do it for the most part. But don't worry about this little notification. I'm sure we'll get an updated license for you before this expires, but you can just okay past that. And one other thing to note about the Secure clients. Um, if the machine you're trying to work from, if the display settings, since I'm remoted in here, we can't see it, but for scale and layout, this needs to be set at 100% or Secure just doesn't display properly. So if you've got your scaling set to something like 150 or 200, Secure just looks really weird. It kind of cuts everything off. You can't read all of these menus, and a lot of these transactions that come in the monitoring window start smearing and cramming together. So it just, things don't look right if you don't have that scaling set right. So this is the monitoring client. So far, one person has read their badge since I've opened it. This just kind of keeps an activity log of all the stuff that comes in from when you open it. Now, all this activity is accessible. We can run journal replays to see transactions going back as far as the journal log goes on the system here. But this window only shows what has happened since you've opened it for the most part. And once it gets fuller than you can see in one screen, you can scroll up and a little timer bar starts at the top here for 30 seconds and it'll stay wherever you scroll it to. And that 30 seconds restarts every time you move it again. And after the 30 seconds runs out, it'll jump to the bottom of the list of the current activity. One kind of handy thing you can do in here, if you see a card read, if this person, if one of these people didn't have access to the door they're trying to get into, this little icon will show up as red and it'll say rejected. And if it's because they don't have a clearance that has the door they're trying to read their card on, it'll say rejected clearance. And one thing you can do for monitoring here is you can jump right to a personnel record by clicking on this little icon. It's just a shortcut. So if you're seeing somebody trying their card and they're being denied access, but you know the person and you know they should have access, you can jump right to their personnel record and check to see what clearances they have. Maybe you just gave them that badge and they're not getting through a door they're supposed to. This is just a shortcut. You can get right to their record and make changes on the fly to the monitoring here. And that's just by clicking on that little icon. Let's see, a few key things to know about this monitoring station. If you guys are having problems with the system, like you're entering new badges, but they don't seem to be working, you're reading badges, but you're not seeing the transactions show up here in the monitoring. The first thing to check if you're having problems with this system is to see if the controllers are still online with the system. So over here you've got this little controllers icon, and when you click on this, it shows all the controllers in the system and shows you if they're online or not. So if you're ever having problems, this is the first thing you ought to look at. And if any of these panels are offline, it's probably the next step's probably a service call to us to take a look at it, or your IT folks as well. They might be able to troubleshoot. Maybe they're doing something in one of these areas and would be like, oh yeah, we've got that switch down. So then you know why that panel's offline. But if your IT department doesn't know why the panel's offline, things aren't working, then it's probably a service call to us to start looking into things. But this is just the first place you want to check when you're having problems. Just make sure everything shows online. You guys don't have a video integration, so you're not really going to use much in here. You can pretty much ignore that section. Doors, this is really handy. This shows you all the different doors in the system. And we can kind of edit this window so it looks better. We don't need this description. So I'm going to right click on these column headers here and uncheck description. So that one goes away. Clearance filter, right now I don't really care about that. I'm going to get rid of that one. And then I'm going to stretch my door names out here so that they all fit in one column without overlapping. So these are all the doors in the system, and we can see if they're currently closed, held open, forced open, whatever. Of course, if you have a door that's reporting improperly, it's possible there's something wrong with the door contact. But this is what the system thinks is going on with all of these doors. I don't see any that are unlocked currently, so you must not have any that are on an unlock schedule. But we'll get to that at some point. If you had a door like a main lobby door that you needed on a schedule to be unlocked 8 to 5, we can create an event and have the action of that event to unlock a door, and then we can apply a schedule to that event. So it's active from 8 to 5, and whenever it's active, it's unlocking us whatever doors we specify. But it looks like you guys don't have any doors that are unlocked on schedule right now. It's showing everything is being locked right now. You can also manually control doors from here as well. So these guys are all the New York doors. And in fact, I could probably relabel these and just put a little NY in front of them just to make it a little more obvious. But for right now, I'm just gonna, if we highlight a single door and we right click it, there's a few things we can do here. It's pretty handy. All doors by default are locked unless there's something that's controlling them, telling them to do something else. If I do a momentary unlock on this door, it's like I read a card. It's gonna go unlocked for the amount of time. It didn't really show it happening here. I think it just kind of happens too quick. But down here, you can see that there was a manual action to unlock that door, storage. And it shows that the door momentarily went unlocked and then went back to locked. Um, this window's a little slow, especially if the server's in Colorado and this particular panel's in New York. So the 5 seconds that it was unlocked, we may not have seen it happen here. But if I right click this guy and instead of momentary unlock, if I just tell it unlock, it's going to pop open a little window. It's like, okay, when do you want me to start unlocking and when do you want me to finish? And by default, it sets it for an hour. So if I hit save and close, this door should go to unlocked. You can see I did a manual action and that the door went unlocked. So now it's going to stay unlocked for an hour unless I either delete that manual action I just created or I wait for the hour to expire. So rather than, like if I change my mind, I'm like, okay, this thing's going to be unlocked for an hour. I don't want that anymore. Instead of coming in here, right clicking and telling it to lock, that would generate a second manual action. So there would be two manual actions in the system, one telling the door to unlock and one telling it to lock. We don't really want that. The best thing to do here is just to cancel my original manual action to unlock the door. So the best way to do that, up here in the top right, I've got manual actions. So if I click that, it's going to list any active manual actions in the system. And this is the only one. It was done by this user, and it doesn't really tell us what it's doing. Oh, target storage one. There it is. That's the door it's affecting. So if I right click this guy, I can come down to cancel. That'll remove that manual action from the system, and that door goes back to its default state of being locked. So just a quick pause here. Any questions so far on anything we've covered? Is that all making sense?
Yes. Can you, Chris, can you add the NY to the 1 through 10, knowing that we're going to integrate all of the offices? It would be good to know that when the officers go in, they know this is New York, this is Santa Monica, this is Greenwood Village.
Sure. And we could put maybe DEN for Denver, or would you rather have it be like GV, Greenwood
Yeah,
Village, or
Greenwood Village. Yeah.
okay, GV, is that good
GW.
enough?
Yep, that's fine. Or PV. That's the Pavilion Verde building that we're in. So either one, it's
Okay,
fine.
gotcha.
Whatever you decide.
All right, I'll do that once
Stars
we
Stars IT refers to it as PV for
PV.
Palazzo. Yeah, Palazzo
Okay,
Verde.
we can certainly do that. Okay, so if there's no questions about the monitoring station and manually controlling doors, then we can,
Israel, are you comfortable so far?
Yes, I'm comfortable.
Okay.
Understood.
cool. Okay, good. So that's a real quick, rough overview of the monitoring station. There's not a whole lot more you'll do in here. One thing that is handy though, if let's see here, let's say we've got a door that's unlocked. And we're not sure why. Um, we can right click the door and okay, here it is. Under this advanced menu, there's this show locked causes. Now the door is actually unlocked, but the show locked causes shows us anything that's trying to affect this door currently. So if I click on that, it gives me this little pop-up window here. It's got two things listed. It shows the default state. That's always going to be there. So if there's nothing affecting this door, the default state is for it to be locked. But listed right above that, I see an action of unlock door with a username. So that's just basically telling me somebody's done a manual action to unlock this door. So then I could come over here to manual actions and cancel it to relock that door. Or if there was an event in the system that was scheduled for right now and that event was active and the action in that event was to unlock this door, it would also list that event in here as one of the things that's telling this door to be unlocked. So that's one other pretty handy tool for troubleshooting with these doors. If you're not sure, if a door's not doing what it's supposed to and you're not sure why it's doing it, right clicking, going to advanced and show locked causes shows you everything controlling that door currently. So,
Hey, Chris, I have another question here. So when a door is, let's say a door is ajar for a certain amount of time,
mhm.
can we set the doors to where they give an alert to the security officer that this door is open, it's been open for a minute, 5 minutes, or whatever, however long we want to put the timer to it?
Yes, we certainly can. And in fact, you guys are a good candidate for this. Most sites we don't bother because there's not somebody sitting watching the monitoring all the time. But on a system where you have guards like this, where they are keeping an eye on things, we can set up all these doors so that if they get a held or a forced alarm, it can activate an event, and that we can add an extra little event window here at the top that takes up like the top half of the screen. And anytime an event comes in, it'll pop up in there, and you can have the client ding. It'll like bing, bing, bing,
Yes.
and do like a breakthrough. So if you're watching YouTube videos and you have the client open in the background and an alert comes in, it'll pop up in front of everything else and start dinging at you. So you know, to get your attention. And then depending upon how you configure the events, you can have them require acknowledgement. So they'll sit there and ding at you until you click on them and acknowledge them. Or you could just have them pop up with no dinging and just be present. But then if the situation gets cleared, they go away on their own. So it's kind of depends on what you want, but we can configure the events to do that, to pop up and stay and not go away until they're acknowledged, or to clear when the issue clears.
Yes, can we have that? It doesn't have to ding, but it does need to be acknowledged before it
Oh,
goes away.
okay. So that takes a little bit to configure all those events and set that up. I can
Yeah, it
definitely
does
do.
have to be today.
So yeah, so that it's probably going to be a separate service called come
Okay.
back and revisit that, and we can set all those events up. We can even, I don't recall if you guys have an email server set up, but if you have an email server set up and Secure is attached to it, you can also have Secure send out emails on alerts and stuff like that too. So it's all doable, but it just takes a while to configure all that stuff. I just want to look
Sounds
and
good.
see. I thought we had, oh no, yep, we don't have an email set up for you guys. But if your IT has an email server we can point Secure at, we can make that happen too. So
Thank you.
um, that's that's most of monitoring station that I can discuss for right now. Um, let's take a look at the admin workstation. This is where you do all the programming. Um, you can get status of things from in here, but this is just mostly like static programming. Um, this this section over on the right, when you first log in, it kind of keeps track of stuff you've used the last time you logged in. So it just gives you some quick links to pop back in to, like if you just want to go to operators or personnel records, whatever. Um, or you can get to all that stuff from over here. These are kind of the major categories on the lower left-hand side here. And depending upon what you click on, that changes this little search area here to give you relevant search stuff for the category you're on. So if I select hardware, I get like a hardware tree. Um, but I can also jump over here to search and get some search options. If I click on personnel, I get search options for personnel. Um, and there's lots of subcategories under each of these major categories. So once you pick a major category, you've got usually a whole list of subcategories from this pull down list here. So if I'm looking for personnel, I select personnel. I can, if I leave all these search options kind of blank in their default here, and I just hit this green arrow or hit the enter key, it's going to show me all personnel in the system. And it's given me a count over here in the top right hand corner, 606 people it has listed right now. That's everybody. And this box over here on the right that it displays everything over in here, this is called the dynamic view. And most of these categories utilize a dynamic view like this, and there's a lot of little tools in here that are really handy. All of these, every dynamic view you can customize however you want. Um, you can move these columns around, drag and drop them. Excuse me. Um, Customize the view however you need. If you right click on the column headers, it shows you which ones are currently enabled, and it's got just a few that are kind of most common here. But there's also a lot more. There's the more columns section, and these are all the different columns you can display for personnel. So there's quite a few here. You can use this little filter here to search through it instead of if you don't want to scroll through the whole thing. So let's see what would be in here. Clearance filter. Let's see what's something that would be handy to know. I guess if they have an operator associated with them. So I added that column, but we don't see it. It's actually off to the right over here. So here's the operator column, and we can sort by all these columns. So if I want to find out if anybody, in the system has an operator associated with their personnel record, and it doesn't look like anybody does. It's not finding anything, so that's not a very good candidate. Let's see, personnel type. Okay, you've got one person set up as a visitor, about 6 people set up as contractors, 1 employee, and then the rest of them are not really categorized. They're just set to none. The personnel type is just, it can be used for a few things throughout the system, but mostly it's just used to kind of categorize people. So, you know, if you want to display all your employees or just contractors or visitors, if you're, it depends on how the system is used, you know. When people started entering personnel records in the beginning, if they're vigilant about setting this, whether they're actually a contractor, employee, visitor, then, you know, it becomes useful. But it looks like over the years, they're just getting put in with none. So this can be updated though. Like if you had a big chunk of people and you know they're employees, you can highlight a section of people, right click. Okay, and then set property. This allows you to pick just about any property that's common to all of these and set them all at once. So I selected property, it popped open this little box. I have to tell it what property I want. So if I hit this little triple dots over here, I get a selection box. I want personnel type. So I'm just going to put my cursor in the filter here and start typing personnel, and it pops up as soon as I get it narrowed down somewhat. So personnel type is what I want to change, and then in the value box, if I selected employee and hit OK, it would go through and set all of these guys as employees on their personnel type. So that's kind of a powerful tool. If you're looking to change a group of folks, there's a number of ways to query the database. Like, let's see here, what's something that would be handy? What kind of information do you guys put into these personnel records? Let's just take a quick look. I don't think you guys are probably putting in much more than, oh no, okay, you're using some of these text fields, so that's handy. Does anybody on the call know? So obviously we've got license plate, but then we've got text 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This looks like description of vehicle. This is probably license plate maybe. Um, and I'm not sure like what this would be or what this would be. Is there anybody in the meeting that knows what these text fields are used for by chance? Doesn't sound like it. Okay. So I'm not
So,
sure what. Oh,
my
go
bad,
ahead.
Chris. Just to add in, so I know like for this profile, it was done before I arrived, but for materials and QC, assuming that's like their department. So
Okay.
department, and then the 3675. I want to say that looks like their office number on the no. Could you click on the credentials real quick? 3675. Yeah, that now.
That's
See, I'm not too sure about that number then.
okay.
That 3675.
Okay. And these labels can be edited as well. We could create you a custom view, and then these would have titles that made sense. But anyways, so let's just say we want to find all people that have this department on their text 2. So I'm going to run a little query over here and search for people by that text 2. So this is, so in our search area here, there's the quick button that gets you these options. You can search by first name, last name, personnel type, middle name, email, license plate, and a few other options. But there's also this little advanced button down here. If I click on this guy, I could build a new query and save it. I could use one of these canned queries that are already in the system here, like if I want to search for somebody by their card number. Or I could do an instant query and build one on the fly here, which is what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to click instant query. It's going to pop open a little box. And we got to tell what we're looking for here. So I'm going to hit add. And I'm looking for a personnel is the type of record I'm wanting to query. But I want to query text 2 for personnel. So there's text 2. And I want to find everybody where text 2 equals that. So now I'm going to run this. And it found one person. Okay. So there might be more people. Let's see. Let me check this. There you go. Text 2. And okay. So there's more than just one person that has that, but only one showed up in my query. So is there a spelling difference or something? Hmm. Oh yeah, he's got a typo. He's the one guy who has it spelled differently than everybody else. So that's why. Okay. So I don't know if y'all followed that, but I'm gonna I'm gonna correct his department. Let me just copy it from this person, and I'm gonna update it for him so it's spelled right. And so now let me recall that query. Okay, so now if I run that query, I should find all those people. Yeah, it found 23 people where their text to matches that what I put in there in the search. So that was a little roundabout way to do it, and probably a little confusing. Any questions on running an instant query like that? Did that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, so far I'm trying to mimic what you're doing on mine. So you click on the personnel tab,
And if you hit the little
personnel.
advanced button at the bottom, that's where you get to the queries.
Oh, okay. Perfect. And you did an instant query, that is?
Yep.
Okay.
And so if you go instant query, so now you kind of got to tell it what it is you want. So when you hit the add button, it's already got personnel in there, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a personnel record, and then what field am I searching off of? I was searching off a text 2, so I selected text 2, and there's a number of things you could do. You could search for, and this might have worked better for me because there was typos. You could search for it personnel records that contains whatever you put in the value or does not contain whatever you put in the value, starts with, ends with, is greater than, equal to, that kind of stuff. But if you do equals, then it's got to match exactly what you put in there. So I put in that department and I hit run, and I get a list of everybody who had that department in their text too. And so I can take this little window of information here, and this is a dynamic view as well. I can add and remove columns from here as needed. Like if I also want their text 1 through 4, because it seems like you guys fill that stuff in. So if I use the filter here and go to text, I can then grab, there's 3 and 4, and where's text 1? Maybe it's up here already. Oh, you got, text 1 has been renamed in the system as license plate, so that's why I'm not seeing it here. I'll just grab these two, and oh, license plate's already there. So we've got in our list here, license plate, text 2, text 3, text 4, and we can export all this information. Like, let's maybe sort it by name first. And this is last name, first name, but there's also individual first name column and individual last name column if you don't like it being in a combined column under just name. So then you could sort by first, last name, whatever, and then you can export this little query to a spreadsheet. Unfortunately, I don't think this machine has Microsoft tools on it, so I won't be able to display it from here. Let's see. Private personnel documents. Okay, but I can do it on my own machine here. Let's go. Documents. Copy. Okay, so there it is. It'll export it to a spreadsheet for you with the columns, whatever columns you display and however you sort it before you export it. So, so that's personnel. I think for the most part, there's a lot to this system. It does so much stuff that it gets a little confusing. It's a little easy to get lost in the weeds when you're trying to figure out how to do something. Um, but there's one thing that's kind of handy if you're looking at something and you hit the F1 key, it'll bring up um, help about whatever it is you're in. I was in the personnel editor and I hit F1 and it's got links to it. The only problem with this is it kind of tells you what stuff is. It's, let's see, but it doesn't really tell you how to do stuff. Like it says first name, middle name, last name. It'll tell you what things are, but then it doesn't really tell you how that thing is used in the system. So it gets a little confusing. I mean, the help here will help you to identify what things are, but it doesn't, it's almost like stereo instructions. It just kind of tells you what things are, but it doesn't really give you theory of operation and how you're supposed to use stuff, unfortunately. So it's the help files and the manual that I can send you guys. It tells you what everything is, but it's not super helpful as far as knowing exactly what to do. So I'm going to kind of keep it down to just some specific things, and we can ask questions later if there's something you need to know how to do. So I'm sure the biggest things you need to know how to do is search for people, how to add a person, and then how to add a card, how to find individual cards, that kind of stuff. So we'll we'll go through that. If let's start with just creating a person for right now. Um, Obviously, you got to be on the personnel category. You got to have personnel selected up top here. And if I'm going to add a new one, there's a little new button right here. And it's got a little down arrow next to it as well. That little down arrow is for templates. Looks like there is one template created in the system. I'm not sure what that's for or who created it, but just know that if you're hitting a little down arrow, that's where you get to the templates. But if you're just trying to create a new record, you got to hit it in the middle of the button here. So I'm going to hit new. And the only thing you really need to create a personnel record is a first and a last name. So let's see. Oops. And this is the personnel editor window here. On the general tab, you've got this little options section here. There's a lot of stuff in here that's not really relevant. You guys don't use anti-passback. You don't have card readers with pin pads. You don't use pins or keypad commands. So there's a lot of stuff on here that's not really relevant. But this disabled button here, this disables the personnel record and any credentials assigned to this personnel record. And that's important to know because you can have more than one card assigned to a personnel record. And let's see. From the credentials tab here, I could individually select a card and disable just this card, but not the other one. So there's a disable here that's just for individual credentials, but then there's also a disable here, and this is for the whole personnel record and any credentials assigned within. So that's the difference between disabling them here for an individual card or for the whole record. And, we can also, let's see here. And that's a column we can check. This is for the personnel record to see who's disabled. We can sort by that column, see what records are in here but are actually disabled. But anyways, I'm getting off track. So that's the disable for here. Credential, this is where you add the card number. You have to hit this little add card access. I think the system variables is probably set to 5 is the maximum cards you can add to a person. Yep, 5. 3, 4, 5. Yep. So you can have up to 5 cards. This little guy down here, it says like facility code and issue code. You can't type in these. Well, you can, I guess. But this is not truly the facility code. The facility code is set up under the card format and saved there. In some extreme situations, well, when a system is managed properly and you buy badges, you tell the person you're buying the badges from, this is the format I want, this is the range of card numbers I want, and this is the facility code I want. And every time you order badges, you use the same facility code. I mean, ideally that's the way it's done. But, that's usually never the way it works. These systems will be around for a long time, and there's different people managing them at different times. And the new person doesn't realize it and just orders a new batch of cards. It's maybe a different format. It has a different, or maybe it's the same format but has a different facility code. You can add multiple facility codes to one card format, but you can only have one bit length of format on a system and have it work properly. So if you ended up buying, you guys have standard 26-bit cards, and if for some reason somebody bought another card format that also had 26 bits but was a different format, you wouldn't be able to use them. And just because the system's funky about when you assign formats to a reader, if you assign 2 formats with the same bit length, it doesn't let you prioritize them. So you don't want to do it that way because it'll cause issues. It might use the right format for the most part for most of the time, but then it might not use the right format. So you would get intermittent misreads and rejects. But I'm kind of getting off track here. I'm sorry about that. But the thing I'm getting towards is in extreme cases where you've got lots of different card types and formats and facility codes, you can set up the system to where you can use this facility code box. But the system has to be configured that way. So like I was saying, there's a lot of stuff in these views that's going to be irrelevant. So pretty much everything on this view, other than this activation and expiration date, if you just leave these default, then they don't really apply. But if you actually do put in an activation and an expiration date, then they'll apply. So if you put in a badge and say that you're not active until next month on this day, then it won't be active until that month on that day. And if you put in an expiration date, then it will expire on that day as well. But this little section works for setting expiration and activation dates. This little section works for marking cards as disabled, stolen, lost. Any one of these checkboxes basically disables the card. Temporary doesn't. I think temporary lets you put in another expiration date. Visit pass is if you're setting them up as a visitor. But for the most part, this little section is about all you're going to use here. And so that's for general. You put in their name, personnel type, maybe attach an operator. Um, Credential, this is where you set up the cards. You can have up to 5. You can individually status them over here. And then clearances, this is where you give them access to certain doors. And what a clearance is, it's either a list of doors or a group of doors paired with a time schedule. And if you assign that clearance to somebody's card, then their card will work on the doors in that clearance during the time schedule that they're associated with. So if I click on add, it's going to show me all the current clearances you have in the system. So far, since I haven't really had a chance to talk with anybody and discuss what your needs are, or maybe you guys are going to do this on your own later. So far, all I've done is create a New York all doors. So if you have this clearance, then your door or your badge will work 24/7 on all doors in the New York office. So if I select that and add it, um, this badge or any badges associated with this personnel record will then work on these doors once I save it. You
Okay,
can
Chris,
go
can
ahead.
I jump in right quick? So the New York all doors clearance that gives everyone in the office clearance to every single badge reader in the office, right?
Or anybody who has this assigned. And so
Okay,
far, I think maybe only one person out there does. My sub was out there and borrowed somebody's card for testing, and we gave them this clearance just so we could see access granted.
okay.
But I haven't set anybody else up with this yet. Sounds like we had maybe we had a list of people you wanted imported, and maybe
Yes.
we want to give that clearance to.
Well, there the list of people are the list of employees who would just need access to, the access points. We only have two doors that would need for someone like the security officer on site, Israel. He would need all door access clearance.
Hmm.
Um, Ariane, she would need all door access clearance. DeAndre would need all door access clearance, and then we have a mother's room and a storage room who uh, would have a selected few employees would have access to those rooms.
Okay. So why don't we, while we're talking about it, let's create that limited clearance. I'm not going to save this record. Let's just do that really quick. So
Perfect.
personnel category, subcategory clearance. I'm going to hit the green arrow just to show what you've got already. And then I'm going to hit new and we'll create a new one.
And see
Yeah.
this that though all those that you're showing now,
Mm-hmm.
just for clarification, that's in
PV.
the Colorado office.
So maybe we put a PV in front of all these.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, because the New York office only has uh two, or actually three. It would be the server room, the storage room, and the wellness room. That would they would only need that we would be granting access to individual employees, or like I just mentioned, the three employees I just mentioned, Israel, Ariane, and DeAndre would have full access to all doors, including those three rooms I just mentioned. Everyone else would have just access to uh, the public entry areas, and then a few employees would have public entry and storage room, if
Okay.
that makes sense.
So if we're going to make a new one here, um, why don't you guide me and tell me what you want to call this first one? Just
Okay.
employee access, maybe?
And this is for all access, or
Whatever we want to make it. We're going to make a few of them here.
okay. So the
Whatever
first
you
one
need.
we'll do we'll do all access
Okay, so
for,
we've got
and that'll be for the three.
Okay.
So New York, all access clearance.
Okay. And let's see here. So the New York doors, let's see, have a dash in them. Okay. So these are the New York doors. What should this clearance have in it?
All of them.
Everything. Okay. Now that's basically the same as New York all doors, right?
Correct. That's all door clearance, and that's for selected few, which would be Israel, Arion, and DeAndre.
Okay, so that I already have that clearance. So if we're gonna, what would the next clearance we want to make then?
Okay, the next clearance would be for the if you click on uh, the 10 access points in New York, I can look at that list and let you know.
Okay,
Uh, so it'll be number one, storage.
so just storage access.
Yes.
Okay, now do you want to just have this clearance be just for that one door, or would this, or do you want to do it for like an employee who should have access to storage and give them everything they should have, including storage?
Yes. So this would be for all the access points, excluding the IT room and the wellness room. But
Okay,
they'll have all the access points and storage room.
okay. How would you categorize it? What would you want to call this clearance then? Still just storage access?
That's it.
Okay. So you're saying not IT, but storage, not the wellness, but pretty much everything. Oh, wait a minute. No, I only want stuff with a dash and North Lobby. So not IT, not wellness, but everything else.
Correct.
Okay. And that's, I'll use the always, so 24/7.
Yes.
Okay. So now these are the doors they get 24/7 if they have this clearance. Okay, so another one.
Hey, real quick, we're about 4 minutes shy of the hour. Do we have
Yep,
more time to stay on?
I do. I don't know about everybody
Yes. I
else.
think
Marcus,
everyone
do
else is
you?
fine.
Okay,
Yes.
awesome. Just
Okay.
wanted to check in.
Yeah, sorry, I'm going running a little long here. We haven't even started the video stuff yet, so
No, it's okay. This call is encompassing more than just end user training.
cool.
All right. And then the third would be just general population or general employees who would just have access to the entry and exit points,
So,
excluding wellness, storage, and IT. So if they created a new hire badge, that would just grant them basic access into the suite.
gotcha. So no wellness, no storage, no IT, but everything else
Correct.
with the always schedule. Okay, and that's all you need clearance wise, you think?
That's it. Now the wellness room is on demand. That is our room where pregnant employees would go after they come back from maternity leave, and that's where they would, do their thing in there. But that's only on demand, so
Okay.
that would be granted. There you
Let,
go.
let's just go ahead and do a clearance for that so you can add it individually. Always. Okay, so now you got 4 New York clearances. As soon as this refreshes, there it goes.
All right, does that sound about right? Arion, Israel?
Yep.
Okay. All right, what else do we need to know here? Let's see, so that's, oh, let's say, yeah, one thing that's a little annoying with the personnel record, From this view, we can't see the card number, but if you open a record, you can see what cards they have here. You can right click, and I thought there was a way to jump to the credential from here. Maybe not. Associations, you probably can. Through associations, no, that's not it. Okay. Um, if let's say you find a card, you don't know who it's assigned to, you can do advanced, and there's a card number search query already here at the very top. If we double click that, if we know exactly what the card number is, we type it into this box next to equals and hit run. So I don't know if that number exists. It does not. But that's one way to find a card number if you don't know
And,
who
and
it
Chris,
belongs to.
I hate to interrupt you here, but the wellness room, I misspoke. That should have been the mother's room, not the wellness room.
Okay,
Sorry about that.
no worries. We can edit that name. I'll come back to that. And the mother's room, is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, I'll get that changed. Um, let's see what else here. Oh, and so yeah, the system kind of stores the personnel record in one database table and the card number or credential in a different database table. So that's unfortunately why we can't do a column here that shows the card number as well as this information. But we can also look at the credentials, which is the cards, in their own view here. So there's 605 cards in the system, and we can see the card numbers here. We can sort by the card number. One thing I didn't go through, which I meant to, I talked about briefly these dynamic views. This little section out here is the dynamic view, and you can sort by all these columns, rearrange them, right click, add and remove columns, and then export this data as needed. But one other very powerful tool is this little filter here. It looks like a funnel. When you hit that button, it turns this line on and off. And so when this line is here, you can use it to filter and search for specific things. Like if I hit 1, it's going to show me all cards that have a 1 in them somewhere. If I hit 4, now it's all cards that have a 1-4 in them somewhere. And I can alter how this filter works. This is just by default set on contains, but I can do things like since it's a number, I can't do the starts with. I can do lesser than, greater than, or equal to, or contains. If I'm searching on a name, I can do things like starts with or ends with. But it'll filter things on the fly as you type in these boxes. Like, so there's only one card that has 3 8s in a row in it. Or if I'm looking for specific names, it's got, those are the only people that have Chris in their name. But that's just really handy. You can kind of alter your data on the fly, use these filters to find certain things. I finally went, there's nobody with temporary checkbox, so that goes away. Let's see, but you can do this on all of these. Like if I want, and then one other really handy tool with all these is there's this box above here. It says drag columns to group by here. So if I grab this column, text 2, which is supposed to be department possibly, and I drop it up in here, it's going to group everybody by likeness in that column. So, and it gives you a count. So there's 272 people that have nothing in that column. There's 7 people that have accounting in that column. There's, let's see here, 18 people that have tech ops in there. There's one person that has it spelled as technology ops, misspell. But it's just, this thing here is just pretty handy for grouping the data and manipulating the data. If I wanted to see personnel type grouped, I could see I've got 6 contractors, 1 employee, 598 that have none, and 1 is a visitor. And just to undo it, you just grab it and drag it back. But that's pretty powerful for manipulating your data and grouping things, and you can export them in that group so that you have all those little pivot tables in your spreadsheet when you export it. So it's pretty handy. I think that's probably, well, we went through setting up a clearance. You guys don't really have events that are scheduled at unlocking doors, and we probably ought to jump into video. So unless you have any other questions about this system, oh, here's one thing that is important, and that you probably will need to know before we move along. One thing that'll probably come up handy is needing to check the history on individuals or possibly on individual doors. There's a really easy way to do it. If you've got personnel displayed, and let's say we want to see what this guy's been up to, if we right click and we go to find in journal, by default we got last 7 days here, but we can go back last 30 days, last 12 months, or last hour, whatever. Let's do last 48 hours and hit run. This is going to show us all transactions from this card in the last 48 hours. He's read it twice. Pretty handy for individuals. Last 7 days, and you can export this to a spreadsheet, sort it by the time. You could even group it and see he read his card once at this hallway, 6 at this hallway door, 9 times at this lobby door, 3 times at that one, once at that stair. These dynamic views are really handy.
Hey, Chris.
Yep.
Hey, so just one quick question. So now that I mean, I can tell you're kind of getting into like the journaling, like kind of journaling.
Yep.
So given that we're gonna have 3 locations all with the same, or all on the same, or what would I say, program, how
Mm-hmm.
would we be able to get an occupancy report for each site specifically? So one for Greenwood Village and then one for New York and Mission.
For occupancy, for this system to keep track of actual occupancy, your sites have to be set up as areas, and you have to have inbound readers and outbound readers so it knows when you're on the site and when you leave the site. So we can't,
Mm-hmm.
unless we're set up that way, we can't really do occupancy reports per se, but you can you can run these journal replays on individual doors. So if we wanted to check, let's see, we'd have to do it individually, but we can write a report that, or a query that will do more than one door. But if we're just right clicking, we have to do one door at a time. So if we're doing like North Lobby, and we right click and we do find in journal, we can check the last 24 hours and see all card reads that were completed on that door for the last 24 hours. It also shows you other things like that door was held open at one point, or if the door was locked or unlocked for some reason, like via a manual action, that would probably show up in here as well.
Right. Okay.
So you can do individual door reports easily like that with a highlight and a right click and a find in journal. We can also do, if I come here to options and tools, there's also a journal icon here, and I can build kind of a report query on the fly from here. Let's say I want the last 24 hours, and there's a lot of things we can do here, but if I wanted to pick like all the New York doors and get all the transactions on them, I can come here to objects, hit the little triple dot, and I kind of have to drill my way in here a few steps. So I got a triple dot again here, and again, and now I get to select what am I looking for. I'm looking for doors. And what doors am I looking for? I want all the New York doors, including that one. So now I got to back my way out of here. I'm hitting OK here. So now it's got all the New York doors as the objects that it's going to run its journal replay on for the last 24 hours. Yeah, there's 116 card reads. And I can group it like so. And it's doing it by person, by door. It's also doing door events by door. It's doing manual actions by operator and rejects by person, it looks like, when I sort it that way. But I could do it this way and see that I have 45 card admit transactions, 17 reject transactions, 5 manual actions, and then 49 times I had a door state change. So there's a couple of ways to run reports. This one's pretty powerful coming through here from options and tools and journal. You can pretty much on the fly throw together a query to find just about anything. Like, let's see, message types. Let's say I just want to see all rejected card reads throughout the whole system for the last 12 months and run it. It'll take it a while to go back that far, but there's probably not going to be that many card rejects. Oh, well, maybe there is. 4,965. Let's just do a little grouping here. This is by door and by person, so that grouping doesn't help much. Don't have an object name. Let's do this object 2 name maybe. Gives us the door, so then I could group it by door. I can see 146 rejects on this door in the last 12 months, 844 at this lobby door in the last 12 months. There's a lot of interesting things you can do with these little filters and grouping guys. But yeah, there's a lot you can do with this little journal replay. And then you can also individually do journal replays on items just with the right click and going to find in journal. So any questions about reporting and journaling? And what we're doing is running queries, and we're just getting the raw data. There's also reports in Secure, which I don't use much myself. The report format in Secure is a little clunky. Basically, when you create a report, you build a query like we just did that structures what data you're looking for, but then you apply a report format to it, and the report formats are kind of clunky. Like it always tries to put a header on the page and a footer, and then it, depending upon how the report's structured, it just it's hard to format it in a nice format to where you get the data you want on the page and not have it be too many pages with tons of footers and headers. It's a nightmare. It's so much easier just to get the raw data in that little query window and just export it to an Excel spreadsheet. And it's so much easier to work with the data from that point. So that's why I don't really even bother going into the reporting unless there's specific questions about it. So I guess at this point,
Wait, one thing, Chris,
mhm,
just to summarize or update. So I know we went over a lot, and
yeah,
I don't want to get too far into the weeds to where we forget about Israel. The training is for the New York office. I just wanted to make sure that he is getting his questions answered in a clear way without too much detail.
sure.
And that is around the everyday tasks that he's going to be performing using the secure system. That would
Gotcha.
be, um, uh, and I think you went over a few. I just want to go over a few things. Disabling badges,
Hmm.
uh, uh, creating new badges for new employees or granting them access,
Hmm.
uh, accessing doors, um, remotely with through the secure system if that if it is needed. Uh, David, if am I missing anything else there on the daily activities that he'll be responsible for? Not the reporting, but things he's going to need to know right off the bat.
Sure.
Nah, I feel like as far as the session has gone so far, he's gone over, so again, establishing the profile for whether it's an employee, contractor, vendor, using the resources within the personnel tab. So right here, this is all we use on the day to day. He did give an in-depth dive as well as into the. So if you go, could you click on previous doors real quick, Chris?
Yeah. Let's find somebody who actually has some doors.
Or, yeah,
Y-
yeah. So yeah, again, and so this previous door tab. This is another one that we use on the day to day. He did dive into it and explain it, how you can look into their profiles and come with the reports.
Yeah, this
What
is just
else?
another way to run a report on a person,
Hmm.
and this is showing last 6 months, but you can also change it here as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, to be honest, I'd say he's shown how to add a clearance level or how to add clearances, how to remove them, how to change their names, how to remove doors. So I feel like he's gone over almost all of my day to days. I'd say that the only one that isn't day to day, and why I asked was uh, the reporting, how you mentioned it. So to add on to what you were saying, Chris, it is super clunky. Gives us thousands of cells,
Hmm.
but thankfully, the way that we're able to do it is we have our coordinator over here. So his name is Rico.
Hmm.
He plugs a formula into Excel that essentially removes duplicates. So like you see Brian Christopher's name pop up 20 times. Rico has it to where it'll just tally up as one person instead of having all those duplicates. So
Gotcha.
I think that everything is pretty has been went over, has been revised and explained. The only
Cool.
one that he hasn't is the second part to the occupancy or how we figure out how many people are in office.
Gotcha. Um, like if there's like a main lobby door coming in, you can run a report for the day to see how many people have badged in. But like I said, to get a true occupancy count in Secure and for that to work, um, you have to be set up with an area that has entry points and exit points. So it's actually keeping track of who's coming and going. So I know we're not set up that way on this system, unfortunately, but it can be done. Every door has the capability for inbound reader and outbound reader. So it can be done. Just So that's not how we're set up currently.
Okay. And also, I heard you mention that there was some activity in the New York office currently, right now, real time.
Hmm.
Is that does that mean we're live? Is the doors locked and people need their badges to get in and out?
Well, the readers are powered up and working. I don't believe he's actually enabled the locks yet. We were
Okay.
we, we were starting to try and test some of them yesterday, but he ran out of time. We only got about 3 doors tested, and then he had to leave. Um, but I don't believe he left those locks enabled. And I think the plan is we were just going to get them tested and then find out, when you guys want them turned on before we actually lock everything down.
Okay. And then also when putting in the employee names, since now that we are all migrating together, do we need to, for clarification, I mean, if we're just putting in names, it's fine. But if we did an asterisk like New York and then the person's name to, just make it, is that something possible or will it confuse the system?
Well,
Or
we could certainly create a personnel type and just call it NY employee, and you could use that
yes,
to categorize your people.
and maybe David, you can do something like that later.
Just real quick, personnel category, lower left, personnel type. Green arrow displays what's in there. New to create a new one. NY employee. I think I put 2 spaces in there. Yep. Sure, can be visitor.
David, is that
And
something you can do?
Yeah, yeah. So I was able to update the mother's room name for the doors as well as the. I want to say it was. I don't know. I was able to update, but yeah. So I'll be able to update it some more with the personnel types and everything throughout the week.
And that would go for, all offices.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah. So he has one for New York, and then we can create one for Greenwood Village, and then Santa Monica, and then from there, what I was gonna say was also adding operator names. So Chris, could you help us with operator names because I noticed that we have one for New York, but there wasn't one specifically for PV. So for
okay,
the New York operator one, I was able to add it to a random New York employee's profile. But I wanted to see if I could also start doing that for our office as well.
sure. So when creating an operator, the name is whatever you want to name it. Just name it something relevant so you know. Um, like I have here, Chris Albert dash Encore in the background, Encore account. That just tells me that's my domain account for you guys. But this name can be whatever you want. It has to be enabled. The username, so there's 2 ways to create a user. It's either going to be a Windows authenticated user, that's a user that's actually on the Encore domain or whatever domain you're using for your system, or a basic user, which is a username and a password, and it's not actually a Windows account. And one thing I've noticed, which is kind of odd, you guys have this secure site server, and I've had this happen on other systems. I don't know if it's just a little bug with these site servers, but when you're creating an account, if it's going to be a Windows authenticated user, you put in the username, you put in the domain, and you don't put anything in the password box. But if it's going to be a basic user and not a Windows user, then you put in a name, you do not put in a domain, but you put in a password. And that's how it knows, okay, this is a Windows user or a basic user, which of these is filled in. In the past, I've had this happen to me. I set up a basic user. Hang on. PTI service. Yeah, this was supposed to be a basic user. Hang on. Or no, Paladin. Okay, never mind. That's this one. Paladin. Okay, so this is set up as a basic user. It's got a username, doesn't have a domain, but it's got a password. There's been times where I go away from a site and I come back thinking I have a basic user I can log in with and it doesn't work. And when I get in, it has a machine name the site server's machine name populated in here, so it no longer thinks it's a basic user and it won't let me log in. I've had that happen to me a number of times on a few different sites with these basic users. So just something to keep in mind. If a basic user stops working on you for some reason, get in here and check. And if something got populated in the domain box, all you got to do is delete it and save it, and then that user will start working again. But I know I'm getting in the weeds there. For creating a new user, if I was going to create one for myself, if I open command prompt and I go, who am I? So this is a local account. This isn't a domain account.
Hey, doing good. How are you, Patty?
That I know that just because that's the name of the site server, the machine name, and then this is the user I'm logged in with.
There you go. Better
So
is the keyword.
if I was going to create a user for somebody, if you're
Hey,
on a machine,
Chris, do you
yep,
need to create an account for Nick Marley if he's doing the server upgrade next week?
he can use this this Paladin account, this basic user. He
Okay.
could, he'll have this account as well.
Okay, cool.
And so, Chris, say for the PC or the computer that Secure is already on, for the security, it says here. So when I did the command prompt, it says P security. So would we be able to change P security into um, G or PV security operator on the operator tab?
Um, okay, so you're talking on the operator tab. What do you mean? You
Yeah, yeah.
talking
So already
on the
editing.
personnel record?
No, no, no. So you're, yeah. So on the operator tab for the operator that is under P security. I just wanted to see if there was any way that we could just change the name.
P security, P security.
Oh snap!
Uh, you're not talking about a current operator? You're talking about creating a new one?
No, no. I guess it should be a current one. No, if I'm on
Oh,
the
here,
program right now.
let me do this. Windows Principal. Oops. P security. Oh, there it is. Okay. So that would be this account. And looks like he's local to this machine. Or, okay, yeah, there's a way, the operators get a little tricky. There's a way to get around setting up an operator that's not on the same domain as your server. And to do that, you create a local operator, local Windows user with the same password, and then for the domain, you put in the local machine name. So I think that's what's been done here. You can tell when you're logged into Secure, it shows you the server you're logged into and then your username.
Right.
So,
One other thing while you're on this page and before you move on to the video, the Jeff Evans, he's no longer with the company. Is there a way to delete him?
yep, right click, delete. Want me to go ahead and do it?
Yep.
Okay,
Thank you.
delete it.
And
Okay.
Chris, did you create logins and passwords for Israel and Ariane yet?
No, we have not done that yet.
Okay.
So why don't we go through that process? If I stop sharing, let's see, is one of them on the client machine right now or no? Because So I think we were setting up a new client in New York there for both one for video and one for access control. Curious if they're logged into it right now or not.
Israel or Ariane, are you guys on?
I'm still on.
Hi.
Are either of you connected to that machine in New York right now that we were setting up the client on, or you on different machines in different
Uh,
locations?
Probably different machine 'cause I don't see it.
Okay. Let me see here. I think I can get to. Okay. Yeah. Let me think about this. What I got to do to. When you go to log into Windows, what can you type into our meeting chat? What your username is? Like if you were to open that command prompt and do
Meetings.
who am I? Like what do you got? Meeting chat up here. So yeah, on your local machine, if you can open a command prompt, just do the who am I, and then just copy your domain and username and paste it into chat in the meeting. Yeah, once you get those in there, I can add those operators, and then I'll remote into that client machine, and we'll see if we can add those Windows accounts for login on that machine, and then we can test it out. Are you guys able to get to that username, or do you need help?
I probably should say go to Teams.
Yeah, if you can type it into the Teams chat. On
Okay.
Yeah, on your local machine, if you hit the start button and you type in CMD, you should get command
The
prompt. So
okay.
once you open
C
command prompt,
CMD. Okay. Why didn't I come? CMD.
it could be for all I know the machine you're on, they've got that locked out. But
Yeah, it looks like it because I'm typing it in. It's not going.
okay, so when you hit start, like I'm doing here, and you hit CMD, it just never finds this guy, huh?
CMD. And then you want me to open it? Okay, I got it.
Okay, cool. Once you
But it's
open it,
nothing. It's nothing there though.
yeah, what? Oh, did it open the black box like this?
Yeah, open block box, but it has a U with the positive with the arrow pointing that way, but nothing else afterwards.
So then you type in, who am I? Just like that, all crammed
Oh,
together,
and
and hit enter.
I. Okay, enter.
And it should give you a domain slash
Nope, nothing.
username.
It just says Encore NY Security, and that's it.
Oh, Encore Security. That's what I'm looking for.
Okay.
So it's copy that and paste that in the chat for me.
Okay. Uh, come on. Why is it not doing it? Trying to copy and paste is not. It's the left click right on the.
Yeah,
It's not letting me. It's
oh,
not
so
letting me do it.
what you might do if you can get it highlighted, if you hit
Okay.
hold down Control and hit C, then
Oh,
that
okay.
that copies it, and then you just put your cursor in the
You
text
say hold. You say hold control and what else?
and hit C as in Charlie,
Okay.
and that should copy it. And then you
All
put
right.
your cursor in the chat, and you hold Control and hit V as in Victor, and that should paste it.
Okay. Say that one more time.
Hold Control and hit V as in Victor to
Okay.
paste.
Oh, Victor. There it goes. It's on your chat.
You might have to hit the little send button.
Yeah, I sent it. It's in your chat, in your regular chat.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it currently.
That's weird.
Do you see the chat on my screen here?
Yeah.
So once you type
Uh,
something in, you got to hit this little arrow here for it to
the
actually
arrow.
transmit. So once you paste that in there, you got to hit that little arrow.
Paste. Okay. Why is it not?
Won't let you send it, huh?
Nope. It's not.
Okay.
Hey, do this, Israel. Just take a screenshot, picture, send it to me, and I'll put it in the chat.
Oh, okay.
You said
All
it's
right. Encore.
encore slash what?
NY security.
NY.
Security.
Oh, okay. So, oh yeah, that's the one we've already got set up, I believe.
Set up
So,
already. Yeah.
yeah, okay. NY
Okay. That's
security. So it's just like this, right? NY, oh, NYC
NYC.
security
Uh,
or just NY
I
security?
think it's NY. I'm gonna check again. NYC security.
Okay, good. So your operator's already configured then.
Yeah.
So let's try this out. On your computer, if you hit the start button and start typing in remote, see,
Remote.
see if you get this remote desktop connection.
Remote desktop connection. Yes. Open.
Um, and well, actually, we don't need to do this. The machine you're on that's not the machine that we were installing Secure on this morning.
I I I believe so. For this, you talking about for the cameras?
Uh, no, for Secure, do you see icons that look like either this one or this one? For
Yes, yes. That's
okay,
it's on my the desktop that I'm on now.
okay. Go ahead and click on both of them, and we should see
Okay.
log in here, hopefully.
Okay, it's loading.
Yep, there we go, and there we go.
Then open the other one. It's loading. Okay. 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 I have both of them open.
Okay, cool. All right, so your operator's set up and working, so you have access to Secure.
Yes.
Was was there any other operators we got to get set up in this session, or was it just you for the most part?
I think it's me and Ariana, I believe, or
No, just Israel.
just me? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Ariane, she'll have the cameras,
Cameras. Okay.
soft, yeah, but that's web based, and we can do that later.
Okay. Cool. All right. So any more secure related questions?
Uh, I got it. I got it so far.
Okay.
I think I'm good.
Anybody else? Or are we good
And
to?
Israel, remember, David is always around, so
Around. Okay,
um,
got it. Yep.
you can always reach out to David, or we
No
can.
problem.
That's the reason for us video recording this webinar. Pretty much is you can
Okay.
always go back to this as well for reference.
That's a
Cool.
post conference. Okay. Okay, no problem.
All right. So I guess we can move on to video.
Yep.
So on the video client we have out there, we did get the client set up. Um, I imagine, I think you should have both the security desk and config tool icons probably on that desktop once you get logged in. But config tool is for setting things up. Chances are you probably won't have to do anything in that one. And you'll mostly exclusively be using the security desk, which is where you get to the monitoring. So when you,
Yes, that's the way they have them set up.
okay, cool. So when you double click security desk, it should come up with a login box. Okay, here we go. I I'm running the client right on the server out in New York, so local host works for me. But on your end, you'll have to punch in the address of the server, and when once things are set up right, I don't know if it's going to work right now, but eventually, if we get all your sites running the same versions of Genetech, you should be able to take the client and point it at any one of your sites and connect. Um, but for you, you're going to have to point at the IP address of the server, which is, give me a second here. I gotta find it. Okay, so this, I'm gonna put it into Teams chat. Oops, that's not right. Let me just grab this thing here. So we've got machine name and IP address for that video server. Grab that IP. Posting in the IP. If I had the wrong IP, it tells me right away that's not good. I don't know what that is. Not trusted or not responding. As soon as I put in a valid IP, it's like, oh yeah, that's trusted. That's something we can log into. Let's see, machine name should also work. You just double check that. Yep, it likes the machine name as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and log in with the admin credential. It's got admin as the username. I've got the password for that. I'm hitting log on and it should just connect. Okay, so there's kind of a lot going on in here, um, at least on the main tab. But to get to where you can view cameras, if you click on monitoring, that opens up a monitoring tab. It's being a little laggy. Let's give it just a sec here. It's trying to bring up the views. I it had this tab open because the last time I was in here, I went into monitoring and kind of set up a view. Um,
So one of the cameras is there, but it's not on the actual screen. So we find out which camera is not loaded,
okay,
which is next to one of the employees is right above her desk,
okay,
which is nearby an exit door and her desk.
okay.
Oh, so that explains
That's right away
why,
by Elise.
Sandra.
Yeah,
Yeah, Sandra, that explains it. That's why only five cameras are activated and not
the
six. So
six. Yeah.
it's on the outside of the door where the stairwell is. I know exactly where it is.
Yep.
So we've got two lobby cameras here, these little yellow dots. Those are the two fish eyes. We've got
Mhm.
one labeled elevator machine room, which is this guy here. Restrooms is this guy. And then
Hmm.
there was two dots out here, and I don't know where he put the one that's working. I just have it labeled as stairwell right now.
The one is not working. Is near. I see like the X there, next to by the door
Over
from
here?
exiting. No, not that door. That's the stairwell.
Okay.
So the other one, that's that one that you're pointing to. That's the one that's not on.
Okay. So we're seeing this one, but not this one.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. What what would you call this one? Is there
Uh,
a
That
specific
would,
name to this stairwell?
yeah, we could just
It's
name it the north side stairwell.
North stair.
Yeah.
What about this one? What would you call that one?
Ooh. I mean, yeah, wait,
that's
Israel. So there's
that's the
two
restroom.
stairwells
That's
right
the
next to each other?
yeah. Both stairwells is right next to each other.
Are they
Oh, North Stairwell 1 and North Stairwell 2.
Two. Yeah.
okay? One and two. All right. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't heard from my sub. I thought he was going to be on site today, but I haven't seen him in the cameras or heard from him. But he was supposed to help us get this last camera connected, and then we were also going to test the rest of the doors. So I don't
Yeah. He
know.
said he said he was gonna reach out to you. I think it was yesterday before he left.
Yeah, Sandra has been working on that. I think she just stepped away for a second, but I do see communications between Lanier
Okay.
and Abdi finding
Okay.
out what happened, why he wasn't on site or
Okay.
on this call. So,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to circle back with him to finish a few items on site, unfortunately.
okay.
But at least now I know what you want these called. They're just North Stair 1 and 2. What else? Let's see. And we'll get those added. Um, so in the on a monitoring tab here, when you create a tab, you can alter this view if you'd like. There's down here change tile pattern. When you click on this, there's a few that gives you right off the bat, but there's also a little more button that gives you a number of different styles, depending upon how you want to set up your cameras. And once you click a new style, it's just a matter of dragging and dropping the cameras how you want them into the different tiles. So like if we decided, let's do this, let's open another, this guy's a little laggy. Let's see, go back here. It's not gonna let me do it.
And where did you find
Oh,
those different
there it is.
configurations?
There's a little button at the bottom. Sorry, this thing's being really laggy. It's going to take a second. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. I click it. I'm waiting for something to happen, so I click it again, and then it does 2 clicks instead of one. Okay, there. That's what I was trying to get to. Ah, it keeps jumping on me. I don't know what's going on. It's acting like my
Oh
button
wow.
is stuck down or something. It's my remote connection's acting funky. I was going to try and open another monitoring tab, but I'll just do what I can for now.
And where did you find that? Where do you find those monitoring
Pattern at the
configurations?
uh it's at the bottom, right?
Yeah, so when I'm on a view like this little button right here, change tile pattern.
Pattern. Yeah.
Okay.
So when I click on that, that gives me all the different tile patterns I could choose from. And it looks like I could even create my own if I wanted to, maybe. I don't know what this. I have not used this client a whole lot myself, so there's stuff in here I'm not too sure about. Yeah, it looks like we can create our own custom and do stuff. I haven't really gone down that rabbit hole before, so. But that's where you change your tile pattern. And if we select a new one, let's just do it for kicks. It's already populating the cameras. Yeah, it just populated the cameras for me, but you can rearrange them however you want just by dragging and dropping.
Press 9-minute warning until your next meeting with the PM.
Gotcha. There's not a whole lot to go over this other than maybe playback. Let's say we wanted to check.
Yeah,
Yes.
play forward
Yeah, so
and also going to about going to the like the date too, right? The date to like to go back with a certain days or something to for the recording.
yeah. So if you double click on a camera and bring it full screen,
Mm-hmm.
right now you can see in the corner it says it's live. So we're just watching things happen live. Um, I can, let's see, and I can just start dragging this slider back, and it doesn't look like there's been.
Oh,
Okay,
someone's coming. Yep,
yeah,
someone
now we're
comes on.
we're getting some motion here. I want to see that.
How far does it go back? Months?
Yeah, it'll go back until the hard drives get full and start to overwrite. So it kind of depends. I've got your camera set up for pretty high quality resolution and lots of frames, just because you don't have that many cameras. So it's probably going to take a while to fill up the storage. So until it actually fills up, it's hard to say just how far back it's going to go. But I'll bet you'll get months.
Is the storage in the actual server or is there a database somewhere?
It's on the actual server itself.
Server.
Let's see here. Let's just take a look at what kind of storage is on this machine. Tons. So
Uh-huh.
you're probably with the amount of cameras you have on here, you'll probably have years of storage if you never add more cameras. But
Okay.
yeah,
And that's New York specific?
Yeah.
yep, that's just the New York box.
Okay.
Sandra, just to bring you up to date here, I'll be quick. Uh, the camera that is not showing the fifth camera out of the six, we know which one it is. It was showing. Um, it was pointed at an employee, so that's why it was disconnected. Uh, Chris knows which one it is. He's going to let Abdi know. So when the tech comes out, they'll get it pointed in the right direction and get it reactivated.
Yeah, and make sure they put it where you want it. I think they're placed properly on the floor plan that I've shared. But thank you. Chris, real quick, backing up to the different locations, isn't there a field for location? Or do they have to manipulate that field that you showed David how to? Like, does he have to go through now there's 600 employees all lumped together and he has to go through and go, okay, these 200 are Greenwood Village and I'm going to go label them individually? Is
Uh,
there no systematic way to break out the three locations?
you're talking about in Secure?
Yeah,
Yes.
just for the
Oh,
badges.
okay. Yeah, let me get that there.
And I know we're almost out of time, but I have to think there's a better way than to do it each user badge manually.
And so what you're asking about changing the personnel type to group them together for offices?
Yeah,
Is that what you're asking?
that's how you kind of showed us how to do it. Isn't there a location field or a site?
You, you can, there's tons of fields you can use for whatever you want. There's all of these can be used for anything and relabeled as such. So it kind of depends on what they've been using in the past. You could also do it by this personnel type. Just create new personnel types. So it kind of depends on how you want to do it. If you just want to
Well,
use a custom field and start
then you
doing
have
that
to
as
do them
well,
one by one. Like when you load, we have a list of all the New York badges.
I can import them.
You can
And
import them, but before you import them, can't you specify that they go to something called New York?
yeah, if I had a spreadsheet with 10 names on it, I could just add a column to it and put
I
in New York or NY,
I
and
think
then
we have a spreadsheet. So,
okay, and then I could point it to a text field. I could use it as a personnel type. I
well, and
could,
before you do that, the server for Greenwood Village is all Greenwood Village. So could we go in there and say all these users are Greenwood Village
we
and then
certainly
add New
can.
York? So it just to save some time instead of having to do each badge individually.
Sure, yeah. Um, Pretty simple.
Okay.
We can do bulk changes. If we select a group of people, or if we just want to select everybody that's in the database currently, because they're all Greenwood Village, if that's the case,
Well,
then
let's talk about this more on the other call. I just wanted like before
okay,
David went in and started doing a bunch of individual touching of every employee, and especially before
sure,
we add Santa Monica, though it's a smaller office, but having to touch several hundred users
yeah,
individually is difficult.
painful,
And I don't want to add them all into one bucket and have David have to determine who's who or who's
sure.
where, I should say.
Well, once you guys figure out how you want to categorize them and what fields you want to use to categorize them with, you can grab a chunk of people, do set property, and then you just drill your way down into that field. Like if we were going to use text 7,
I just wonder if there's an allocated field for location already or site.
NY. Not currently, because that's you guys haven't been using it that way, but
Okay.
we can certainly set up a there's a few ways to do it. We could do it by personnel type. We could use a text field and rename it. Um,
Okay.
there's a few ways to do it.
TBD. And did you say anything about training documentation?
Yeah, I can email out manuals for both the video and the access control.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'll just send it to everybody who's in the meeting here.
That'll be
Uh,
perfect.
Unfortunately, it's not letting me just attach files to the meeting, or I would
Yeah,
do it
no
that way.
worries. No worries. Or just send them to me and I can distribute too, if that works.
Cool, that's what I'll do.
Okay. So thanks for letting me interrupt. I'm gonna jump and get the other call set up. You guys wrap up.
Okie doke.
Thank you.
So I didn't get to go too much into the playback, but let's see here. I believe investigate. Once you jump away from live, this little button gets you back to live. I'm trying to remember. I know there's a way to put in like a specific time to jump to it. I think maybe it's one of these buttons over here. Go to specific time. There we go. So,
That tells you the day and the time, and you just put it in.
and these little green blips, this is when it caught some motion. And
Motion. Okay.
the bigger the blip, the more
Oh,
motion it caught at that time. So this kind
got
of
it.
helps you find active events. It looks like you can just kind of click and it goes right to that spot. I haven't really played with this client too much, so
I'll probably start messing around then for myself just to get
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, and David, he knows how to use it too. So
Yeah,
Yeah, the motion tends to start right before the
right
green
for
green mark, it seems
Mike
like.
Mark. Yeah, I see that.
So, and then for exporting a video, like if you found something you wanted
Something
to
or type of
save,
yeah.
let's just back up here. Okay. So if oh,
You
back,
pause it.
pause it right where I want my video to start, and I look at the time up here, it's got
Hmm.
1028.40. So if I click on export video, ba, 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 ba,
Just
ba.
like that.
I can tell it what I want exactly. If I click on this little link, then I want to get to 1028.40 for my start time. So if I drag this until this gets to 1028.40, close enough, and I only want a few seconds. I just want to export this little section here, like 2 minutes worth maybe.
Mhm.
And then I hit export.
Export.
It's going to go into what's called the vault. And it says completed, and I can open the vault from here by clicking on that little message, or
Is it possible
um,
like send it to like an email too from there, from the exporting?
um,
Like we take it from
let's see. Like I said, there's a few things I don't know about this client just from inexperience, and I haven't had much hands-on time with it. But if I come back here to security desk and I go to tools, I've got the vault here, and this is where the clips go to. So
okay.
once it's here, what are my options? So I can package this with the Genetec player. So if I'm giving it to somebody who doesn't have Genetec, then they get the player as well so that they can play it on whatever machine they move it to. I can do a save as, and I think this just allows you, oh, save to vault. I could save it somewhere else. That's creating a new folder. Oops, I didn't really want to do that. Um, let's see, cancel. Package, if I right click it, I can open it and view it. I can package it with the video player, delete it, rename it. Um, as far as emailing it, I think you would have to,
I pack it with the video probably together at the same time.
yeah. Um, one of the options here was open in Windows Explorer.
And
So
then
this
probably
is,
save it, rename it probably, and then send it out.
yep. So
Okay.
this is the actual file. It's about 8 megs. Um, if I do this, I'm going to right click package with video player, destination. Let's just throw it on the desktop for right now and make a new folder, call it video. Well, I'll rename it later, but okay, so it's going to drop it in that new folder with the player. Success, okay. So there should be a desktop. New folder. Okay, so it put some guides in there for me. It put the player in there, and it also put the video clip. So I could put all this into a compressed zip file and email that to somebody. Of course, it might be a little big. The player's kind of big.
Big, yeah. It takes up more space.
So I think we probably need to jump into the other meeting.
yep,
All
Chris,
right.
I appreciate the time. Thank you so
All
much,
right.
David and Israel.
Thank you. Thank you for
Again,
everything.
Chris, if you can send us this video as well,
Yep,
that'll be great.
will do.
All
All right,
right, thanks
guys.
all.
All
See
right.
you.
Have a
Have
good
a good
one,
one. You
everyone.
too.